Well, hello, everybody. Good to see y'all again. Give me just a second. I'm getting everything set up here. We'll jump right in. Um, let's get back here. So we're going to talk about C is the enemy tonight. I liked it because it rhymed, and I think it kind of fits the kind of week I've had and things like that. We'll jump into that. Let me see here. Make sure we got everything like we want it. I'm not sure how many people we'll have here tonight. I am in Villarica, Georgia. Got a load that delivers probably about 30 miles from here on Monday, so I got a little time to kill. We'll probably do another live show tomorrow after the Cowboys game. And I'm shooting a bunch of videos for this upcoming week, too, at the same time. And so that's kind of what's going on here. Give me just a second. Let's see here. Let's start off by saying hello to the channel members. I hadn't even looked to see. Looks like we've got 21 of them right now. I know y'all are wanting some exclusive content over there, and I'm going to try to get you some here pretty quick. If nothing else, we'll put it there, and it'll be, you'll get to see it like a week or a few days before everybody else does. Originally, we were going to set up a bunch of stuff over there where you'd get merchandise and stuff when you'd get merchandise and stuff after you'd been a member for so long. Still working on the merchandise. A lot of the stuff that everybody's wanting, it just takes time and quite frankly, a lot of money to do. And so we're still looking at those things. I'm just trying to find the most cost-effective way to do it. Let's say hello to the channel members, starting off with Robbie Ross, Ramon, who I haven't seen a little while. I need to get in contact with him. Adam, Newman Attack, Craig Hutchison, Chris Bollinger. Man, I hate the way it does this. Roar Fit, Ohio Trucker. Let's see here. Good grief, this is difficult to do. I don't know why it does that. It like resets. After Ohio Trucker, we got the Incredible Bulk. Racing Ray 28, who's in the hospital right now. I'm not sure if he'll be in here tonight. He's had a couple of falls and a couple of issues this week, so he's in a physical therapy place right now getting looked over. Then we got Corey Oatley, Brad Stafford, RGB, ROG Ford, Davenport family, Fran Mariah, Demonicas, Larry June, Trucker D, Chris Hamilton, Josh Escobar. Thank y'all for your channel memberships, and I appreciate y'all supporting the channel. Man, I don't have enough light in here. And trust me, we're working on ways to make that benefit y'all more. All right, let's talk about C is the real enemy. I may have gave it away with the thumbnail, but I've got to say it this way because YouTube and the weird stuff they do. And so basically, there was a pandemic, a virus a couple of years ago. Started with a C. I'm not allowed to say the name on YouTube. I almost lost my channel over it. And so we're just going to call it C. It even was given the designation of 19. I don't know what the 19 was for. I don't remember the previous 18. It must have something to do with the molecular makeup of it or something like that. But you guys would probably know a lot more about that than me. I got in big trouble making a video about it and the jab and all of that, and almost lost my YouTube channel over it. And so a lot happened during that time. A lot of people quarantined at home. A lot of jobs transitioned to work from home, things like that. And there's still, even a couple of years later, a lot of good grief, I can't talk tonight. A lot of long-lasting effects from that. One of them being that it made a lot of people afraid of their own shadow. And at the time I was pulling LTL freight, I had a letter like where I could go into some of the dangerous places. A lot of people had a natural immunity, and I believe I was one of those people, because all the places I went, I should have caught it. And so I was very fortunate, but the work from home thing has created a lot of problems. And for one thing, we've still got people that are walking around masked up. They're afraid of their own shadow. And I get it that maybe there's some health reasons why you might want to do that. But for the most part, it's a lot of people that are just afraid of their own shadow. And so another thing is, and I don't know if y'all have noticed this or not, but since that time, customer service has gone to crap. I'm at a pilot truck stop, and while they've never been known for great customer service, I just think about how lazy people have become. I went in there to get a fountain drink today, and I said, "Hey, y'all are out of Coke Zero. Do you have any more in the back?" She said, "I don't know. If it ain't working, we ain't got none." Didn't say I'll go back there and check, nothing. I thought, well, she's just a lazy employee. I'll go tell the cashier as I'm paying out. I ended up getting a Diet Pepsi instead. So I go up there and tell him, and he just kind of shrugs his shoulders. And so I don't know. I blame it on that C virus from a couple of years ago. I think it made people lazy. It made people not care. I think it also affected people's social skills. And I don't think people talk to each other as much as they used to. And I think we could blame a lot of that on cell phones as well. But, this week, even at RE Garrison, I've had some situations where I needed to talk to people in the office, as I'm sure you have at whatever company you're at. And every single time I got a positive result. And it wasn't because I'm Trucker Todd on YouTube, so y'all chill out. It was because I know how to talk to people, and I know how to structure the conversation in a way where generally I get a positive outcome, or at least something I can live with that's not a deal breaker. And, I thought about when I was at the terminal, I saw another guy that did not have people skills. And that situation didn't end very well for him. And I'm not going to air anybody's dirty laundry or anything like that, but I would just encourage you. One of the things that I hate when a coworker says that really irritates me is, "That's not my job." I hate that, because if you work for that company, it's everybody's job. I mean, I was up there at the terminal. A guy showed up with the food for orientation. I opened the door for him. That's not my job. I'm a driver, but have a little courtesy. I offered to help him carry the totes up the stairs. He said, "No, I got it." Just we need to become more willing to help others and get out of our comfort zones a little bit. And when there is an issue, we need to learn how to talk to each other so that we can get a positive outcome. And so that's where I come up with C as the enemy, is I think it really made a lot of us recluses and afraid of our own shadow. You think about it, even now, I had a truck driver today that recognized me in the truck stop, and he wanted to shake my hand. So I shook his hand, no big deal. A lot of places people want to do a fist bump now. They don't even want to shake hands, which maybe there's a medical difference. I don't know what it would be. If your hands are touching like this or they're shaking, I don't know that it makes a difference health-wise. The same number of germs and everything seem like they would be transferred. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts is on this, and I'm sure I'll have more to say on it. But let's jump into some of the comments and go from there. I will say this. I've already had to remove a couple of comments. I want people to realize that, I had somebody today tell me, well, Todd, on your members channel, you should do a lot of cussing and stuff. And I'm still a Christian. I still have grandkids that watch this channel. I still have family that watch this channel. And we need to kind of keep it semi-clean. I'm not the type of channel that we do some of the stuff that you guys are wanting to do. So we'll just take it from there and see how it goes. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator. Hello, friends from the house in Phoenix. Hello, Robbie. Thank you for being here tonight. Becca says, hey, everyone from Lyons, Kansas. Hey, thank you for being here, Becca. Hope y'all are doing well. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator, says, don't forget to click the thumbs up. Yes, please do that. I don't even know what that means, Newman Attack. Fire Franklin. Trucking every day. We can talk about whatever you want to. He says, oh my gosh, what are we talking about today? Anything you want. Becca says, hey, Newman. Texas Danger says, good evening, Todd. Good evening, Todd. Good evening, Texas Danger. Steve G says, hello, Todd. Hello, Steve G. Trucking every day. Too much college football on today to be on YouTube. Yes, sir. I agree. That's what I should be doing, is watching a college game, but it's a rare instance where I've got downtime, and so I thought I better pop out of videos, especially a live. I didn't do one Tuesday or Thursday. I'm on a load with a little bit of time on it. It doesn't deliver till Monday, and so I'm going to be able to squeeze a 34 in here. And they're paying me something I've never been paid before. I've never even heard of it, called a loaded layover. So I'm getting $400 a day on top of what the load pays to basically just babysit the load till Monday till I can deliver it. So really grateful for that. Still liking R.E. Garrison. I'm not going to lie. There's some things I wish was different. I did a video about 5 of those things, and new things are popping up here and there. But the thing I'm liking is the communication's been better than I expected, better than what I was warned. And we're able to get a lot of these things worked out by having a dialogue. So you guys know, as long as the dialogue's open, I'm not going to put anything negative out. And we're going to work it out behind the scenes. If it ever gets to a point where we can't work it out, then I'll bring y'all in, tell you what's going on. But so far, everybody's been great to deal with. I've met a lot of super people here. Now, I know every time I say something positive, everybody's like, oh, here he is recruiting. I'm not telling any of you to come here. I'm telling each and every one of you to do your own research. Anytime I say something negative, everybody's like, oh, you're not happy anywhere. So I'm not saying I'm not happy here. I'm saying I'm taking it one day at a time. And so far, I'm having a good time and enjoying myself and meeting lots of great people. You guys can all take that to mean whatever you want it to mean. Becca says they have a Monday morning delivery as well. Yeah, mine's between 6 and 9 on Monday morning. So I'll try to get there as close to 6 to 9 as I can, as close to 6 a.m. as I can. After that, they got me another load picking up 15 miles away, going to Arkansas. It is the lowest paying load rate per mile wise that I've had since I've been here, but we've already had a discussion about it. They're trying to get me in a better area where I can make a little more money. And so I'm fine with it. No hard feelings. Yeah, I still see people wearing masks as well. Just because of your channel name, I'm not gonna put that on the screen. But yeah, I see a lot of people wearing masks as well. Becca says she does too. Big Duck Trucking was the year the first case was confirmed. I was a medic at the time. Did you ever catch it? Or it was weird. They said as much as it was either 40 to 60% of people had a natural immunity to it. And I never worried about it. Like it's, I've always said, and I know we've got some people in here that aren't Christians, but I've always said that my death is never going to catch God by surprise. I'm not going to get to heaven or to the golden gates or whatever you believe, and God go, wow, I wasn't expecting you today. And so death is not something I worry about. It's I just kind of go with the flow. But yeah, I made really good money at Roadrunner at that time, hauling rubber gloves and hand sanitizer and masks and things like that. I got kicked out of one of these Indian reservation truck stops because I didn't want to mask up. I refused to. I canceled my Costco membership over it and have not gone back to Costco since, but I may cave on that. I really like Costco's pharmacy, and they do have some good deals in there, and they seem like their products are pretty good. But yeah, I was pretty stubborn and set in my ways when it came to all of that stuff back then. Yeah, this is a great point by channel member and moderator Robbie Ross. How about the nutty peeps in a car by themselves and our masks up? Yeah, I don't think people understand how a virus works. They're not going to give it to themselves if they're in a secluded car by themselves. Now, I guess if they're a rideshare driver, maybe the previous person that was in their car could have gave it to them or something. But yeah, you just people, those people, I feel like it makes me lose a little respect for them because some people are afraid of their own shadow, and I've just never been one of those people. Matthew Miller says, hello, Todd. How's everything going? Man, I got to tell you the truth. It's going a lot better than what I anticipated. And I'll tell you why. Because I did the same thing y'all did. I got on YouTube. I read the negative reviews. And the only solace I found in that was a lot of them were over a year old. And then I talked to several people, including a couple of people that worked here. And I heard a lot of positive things. I talked to former drivers. I even found that one of my viewers that had been watching me since the Swift days had worked here for over 2 years, and we've become pretty good friends and talked to him a lot, and he's gave me a lot of advice. And so I came here really apprehensive, not knowing what to expect. And so far, I've been pretty pleased. I love my truck. I ain't going to lie. I miss the freedom I had at my previous employment, picking my own loads, negotiating my own rates, going where I wanted to do, doing what I wanted to do. But I do like this truck. It's equipped well. So far, the paychecks have been about what I expected, maybe a hair better. And so everything's going great. This truck is super fuel efficient. And I hate to give numbers because as soon as I do, somebody's going to go, well, Todd, there's something wrong with your truck. My truck gets 22 miles a gallon. But I've been getting about 8.2, and I've been pulling heavy reefer loads. And so I'm very happy with that. That's running 70 miles an hour. I did try last night because I had so much time on this load, running 63 miles an hour. And I didn't see an improvement in fuel economy. It actually went down. Now, some of it could have been the rolling hills going through these states over here. And, I know I need to do it more than one night to do a comparison. But, yeah, I'm very happy at 70 miles an hour with 8.2 pulling these heavy reefer loads. And I've been pleasantly surprised by how much of it's been drop and hook. I expected most of it to be live load, live unload. And I would say right now it's about 60-40 in favor of the drop and hook. So that's been a welcome deal as well. The trailers have been in good condition. I've only pulled one that it would still pass the DOT inspection. It was an older trailer. It was kind of dented, scratched up. But the rest of my trailers have been what I would consider to be in really good condition. The reefers are running well. They seem to be efficient. And so I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad, but I'm doing okay. Becca says, Robbie, I've seen that too. It's ridiculous. She's referring to people that are in a car by themselves all masked up. And, there are some reasons where you need it if you're immunocompromised, if there's something wrong with your immune system, like you're going through chemo or something like that. But way more people are still masking up than what needs to be. And how many people remember that when this was going on, they were, if you went to the doctor with a runny nose, oh, you've got the C, you need the jab. And a few people died from the jab. And I'm very proud to say I never took the jab. I've got some family members that took the second one, but they didn't take them after that. And then who remembers when Fauci and all of them were like, oh, you need to get it for the rest of your life. And a lot of people backed out at that time. Steve Given, yeah, keep it clean because there are lots of children in the chat. Yeah, and some of these people, I've had private conversations with them and asked them, and they've cleaned it up some, but just some of the stuff we've got to kind of filter. And hopefully the moderators will help me do it. If not, I'll do it. But I don't mind. I realize sometimes it's going to go a little in the gray area, but it's not going to go way in the gray area. Steve Given, 400 a day. That's way better than Hirschbach. Well, I've never, in 28 years of driving, I've never heard of a loaded layover. I would imagine that's something that is very rare because they've got a lot of drop lots around here. And normally they'd have you take it to a drop lot. I'm guessing that they didn't have anybody else that could cover it, and that's why they're doing that. But I was very content with it. I have never worked at Hirschbach, so I can't comment if it's better or worse. I've thought about doing a comparison video and comparing the two companies because they're similar in some ways. They're both reefer companies. They both do lease purchase. They both have company drivers. They both have dedicated accounts. It's my understanding Hirschbach pays a mileage rate on a sliding scale, similar to what Swift used to do. And here it's a percentage plus fuel surcharge. And quite frankly, I'll just be honest with everybody. If it wasn't for the fuel surcharge, it wouldn't be great here. But with the fuel surcharge, I'm usually at about break even. The fuel surcharge usually covers my fuel. Maybe I make $30 or $40 above that. Sometimes it don't, but usually it's about a wash when you take an average over the week. In one of my videos, I was commenting that I would like to see them get to a point where they paid for the reefer fuel and for the washouts. They currently don't. But what they do is not, or what they don't do that's actually a positive, they're not charging us a trailer rental fee or any kind of trailer maintenance. And let me contrast that a little. When I worked at the previous carrier, I paid $650 a month for a trailer rental. And if I had a flat or anything, it was on me. Blowouts were on the company. So, and it seemed to happen a lot. I don't know if dry van shippers and receivers are not as clean as reefer shippers and receivers, but it seemed like I'd get 1 or 2 flats a week on my trailer. And here, the facilities of the places I've gone to have been a lot better. Now, I went to a bad place last night. There was some foreign drivers there. It was 4 docks there, and 3 of them had foreign drivers in them. And man, they got their paperwork before me, and they just didn't know how to drive. They didn't know how to get out of the parking lot. I thought they were going to hit my truck. At one point, the guy backed back into the spot beside me, and they had told me not to leave until he leaves. And he just got out of his truck and started walking around the parking lot. And I got out and was going to go tell him, or actually I didn't get out. I opened my door and was getting ready to get out and go chase him down and tell him to move his truck. And he gets between the truck and trailer and starts using the bathroom. And, I'm not one of these that's going to get on here and criticize that. I think most males and probably even a few females at some point in time have had to get between their truck and trailer and do that. But at least try to be discreet about it. He wasn't trying to be discreet. I said, man, well, I ain't going to say what I say. But I encouraged him to put his equipment away and move his truck. And there was no sense in it. There was porta potties there. They had a restroom inside. Look, I'm 52 years old. I get it. There's times when it's emergency, and when you got to go, you got to go. But man, when there's porta potties there, use those. Or if you've got to get between the truck and trailer, at least be discreet about it. The lady that was putting the seals on the trailer and doing all of that was a female. What if she'd have walked by? It's just inappropriate. The guy stunk. He came up and was asking me a question about where to check in, and I had to turn my head because he stunk so bad. And just not the way you want to represent yourself at a shipper or receiver, in my opinion. Newman Attack, channel member. I'm wrapping hay on Farming Simulator. I tried to play that game. I couldn't figure it out. I got mad at Xbox this week. They went up 50% on their Game Pass, and so I no longer have Game Pass. And I've been playing my Atari VCS, which I highly recommend if I love the thing, and you can play Xbox Game Pass on it as well. If you hadn't ever seen one or you're not familiar with them, go to my website, Todd at truckertodd.net, and there's about 3/4 of the way down on the web page, there's a link to my Amazon affiliate page, and you can see the console and order you one if you want to. But that's what I've been wanting to do today. I hadn't got a chance to yet. I had it on earlier, and I was doing updates and stuff on it while I was doing other things. But yeah, I've got to shoot some videos. I'm getting behind on news stories and stuff like that. And I haven't done any R.E. Garrison videos lately. If you've got questions or something you'd like to see me do a video about on R.E. Garrison or anything else, email me at Todd at truckertodd.net or leave a comment here, and I'll try to get that done for you. What have we got here? All right, we got a super chat, and it's one I can publish. Newman Attack channel member Chris Bollinger abuses me emotionally. Uh, so that's what's wrong with you, Newman Attack. All right, let's jump back in. Thank you for that super chat. Get back up here where I was at. Becca says their appointment is at 9:30 in Nashville, so y'all still got some driving to do from Lyons, Kansas to Nashville. But that'll be good. It beats sitting in a truck stop. But what I plan to do is spend the night here, and then about lunchtime tomorrow, I'll go over to that place, and they've got overnight parking there, so I'll spend the night here. I got plenty of food on the truck and stuff, and it'll be good to just be over there close. It just makes sense. PG Beats, wow, had many loads that take too long and never offered a loaded layover. PG Beats also works here. He does R.E. Garrison videos. Check him out as well. Yeah, I'd never heard of it. Like I say, the only thing I can think is maybe they didn't have anybody else in the area that could cover the load. Let me answer this message real quick. Hey, I can't talk right now. I'm on a live show. Sorry about that. So yeah, I thought it was rare as well that they did that. It worked out good for me. Life in a box, masks are just a political statement, just dumb. Yeah, um, and I always got a kick out of people would drop their mask on the ground, pick it up, put it on their face, and I'm like, that's a lot dirtier than going without one. Or they would stick it in their pocket, or people, or they'd pick up their cell phone. They say your cell phone's dirtier than most toilets you use, and so, but some people are just germaphobes, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving medical advice or nothing. But I think that was kind of something when we were a kid that was good. Is our parents let us be kids and get dirty and play in the mud and stuff like that. So most of us had a pretty strong immune system. Nicholas Earl said he didn't catch it until 2022. Yeah, and like I say, if you're elderly or something like that, maybe I get it. But I mean, even if you catch it now, it's not that big of a deal. It's about like getting the flu for most people, anyway. Big Duck Trucking never caught it, and I was a medic in the Chicago area. Yeah, so I'm going to say that Big Duck might have, he might be part of that percentage that has the natural immunity. Nicholas Earl says he likes Sam's Club better. Yeah, I think Sam's Club probably has more of a variety. Well, I know they have more of a variety. I've gone there several times with my uncle. He's really loyal to Sam's, and yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to both of them. But as far as sheer variety, Sam's has more for sure. It's just it seems like Sam's will let anybody in, like anybody can get a membership at Sam's, and Costco seems a little more selective. John Fuller, round up these illegal truck drivers and seize their equipment for interstate commerce. Yeah, that brings up an interesting point. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, there's a lot of states that aren't wanting to enforce the laws. And, you know, can we as citizens do that? Can we go through certain states? Can I go through California and say, I don't recognize your 55-mile-an-hour speed limit for trucks. I'm going to do 70 for these through these states. You can't write me a ticket. No, we can't do that, and they shouldn't be able to do that either. If it's a law, they should have to enforce it. Can I go through New York with one of these, bang, bang, and not get in trouble and go, well, I don't recognize your bang, bang laws? No, I have to follow the laws in each state. And I'm bound by both state and federal laws, and they need to be bound by federal laws. I don't know why they're able to get away with this, and they are fixing to start withholding funding for these states. But I think what you're going to see when they do that is these states are just going to do the English language proficiency test, but they're going to pass everybody. They're going to go, yeah, I did one and he passed. And it just goes to show you that law enforcement in a lot of places, I'm not talking about all law enforcement, they're not there to serve and protect. They're not worried about your safety. Instead of serve and protect, they're there to curb and collect. And that's the truth. They, you know, if they cared about safety, they would want people that could read the traffic signs and could read the construction signs and things like that. And they don't care about that. They care about a political agenda and revenue collection. And it's a real shame. Nicholas Earl, why don't you go back to Swift? I'd actually love to go back to Swift. Left on good terms. The reason I don't go back to Swift is because on April 28th of 2023, I had an accident. And Swift says that accident has to be 5 years old before I can come back. And they've told me to contact them like a week or two before that 5-year mark so they can start my application. They would love to have me back the day I become eligible. A lot of people don't realize this about Swift, but it's actually fairly hard to get hired on there. They're a lot stricter than what you might be led to believe by watching YouTube videos about people doing boneheaded things. And so we don't do regularly, but occasionally me and Michelle will still text. I still have friends that work at Swift. And who knows 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, what I'll be doing. But if I become unemployed again, and it's been 5 years, they would definitely be at the top of my list. And so that's the reason I'm not back there. I've done videos on it, but it's still a question that comes up a lot. And man, I would love nothing more than to go there with a truck like this or to lease one of their new ones at that time. But a lot can happen in 2.5 years, and we'll just have to see what they look like in 2.5 years. For example, right now, if you have their insurance, they have an inward-facing camera, and that's a deal breaker for me. So I would have to get my own insurance, no problem. I've had it before through OIDA. I've had it before through 10-4, and so we'll see. But yeah, great place. Same thing with Dart. I get asked a lot, why don't I go back to Dart? Well, Dart, I live outside their hiring area, and I mean way outside their hiring area, about 350 to 400 miles outside their hiring area. And so that's why I'm not there. They did open up their OPI board if you have your own truck, but not for lease purchase, and I don't have my own truck anymore. So that's two obstacles that I wouldn't be able to overcome with Dart Transit. But another good company, I just don't like that shop in Lancaster, Texas, which is basically DFW area. Hope that answered your question on that. But yeah, a lot of people, I've heard all kinds of rumors that there was this big rift between me and Swift, and I laugh every time I see it because nothing could be further from the truth. Left on good terms. Matter of fact, I just talked to my former dispatcher on Facebook probably a month and a half ago, and he and I are still good. If I ever did come back, I'd want to work under him. And so, yeah, that's there's no drama there, unfortunately, for those that want drama. Adam Moderator says, here from Semi Harvest is in swing in southwest Kansas. Yeah, I bet. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator, should the NFL do away with the tie? You know, that is a great question, and one that I didn't really ponder until the Cowboys game last week. What do you think about it, Robbie Ross? For me, I think it would be good if I'd like to see them play, like if it ties at the end of the first overtime, I'd like to see them play a full another 10-minute section, not sudden death or nothing. But, you know, I know that's never going to happen. The tie, I don't know, man. It just happens so rare that I don't know that we, you know, it's been a lot of years since the Cowboys had a game that ended in a tie. I want to say they said it was like 1964 or something, but that's a great question. I wonder what y'all think about it. I figure we'll talk a lot more football tomorrow because I'm going to try to do a live tomorrow after the Cowboys game, probably around 4 Central Time or something like that. I think the Cowboys have the early game tomorrow. Steve Given, my sister's husband, lost his job as a surgeon because he refused to wear a mask, gloves, and sterile garb during surgeries at a hospital. Some people had the audacity to complain about him crazy. Well, there's a time and place for everything, I guess. You know, surgery is definitely one thing, but I should be able to walk through Walmart or Costco. You know, I'm a live and live kind of guy. So if somebody wants to mask up, that's fine. You do you, but if I don't want to, I shouldn't be forced to. And that's just my take on it. It's like all this other stuff, the LGBTQ plus whatever. What you do in the bedroom is up to you. I don't care. As long as it doesn't infringe on me. Now, do I have an opinion on the morality of it or something like that? Sure. But you're an adult. If the other person's a consenting adult, then what y'all do in the privacy of your home is between you and them and your God or whatever you believe in. I don't feel like it's my place to beat my beliefs over your head and say this is what you should be doing. But I want the same deal. If I don't feel like I need to wear a mask, then I shouldn't have to wear a mask. PG Beats, you probably made more if you paid for trailer booking your own loads. Well, I actually did that, and I've been doing it the last 4 years. And, you know, picking my own loads, things like that. But here's the deal on that. And my last deal I did, I was in an 82-18 split. There's a lot of fees that when people are making comparisons, they're not figuring in. And for example, after the 30% comes out, I'm usually at $2 a mile, somewhere in there. Sometimes a little less, but usually right around $2 a mile. At my previous carrier, if I got $2.30 a mile in a dry van, which was above the average when I left, I want to say it was like $1.80 something a mile. You got to give 18% of that away. But wait, there's more. Then you have your trailer rental. It's $6.50. And I was in a lot older equipment. I was breaking down a lot more, having a lot more of that kind of stuff. I was also paying for load boards and things like that. So on paper, my gross and even what I put in the bank might look better. But when you started taking out, insurance and all the other stuff that weren't coming out of my settlements, I think I might be doing better now. I definitely have a lot less stress. I was spending 5 or 6 hours a day calling brokers, negotiating rates, things like that. And now I'll be the first to tell you, though, it's really, really, really hard. And I'll probably do a video about this, to give up the control. When you're used to calling all the shots, it's really hard to trust a dispatcher, to trust a planner, to do those things. So I'm trying, but that's been a personal struggle for me, because I'm used to knowing behind the scenes. And sometimes I've got to call and say, hey, help me understand what we're doing here. And that's why I understand this Arkansas load that I'll be picking up probably Monday about noon. And so I'm okay with it. It's some adjustment on my part. And I knew I was going to have to adjust, and I'm okay with it. It takes some time. Mark Ely. What's up, everyone? Hey, Mark, thank you for being here. What's going on in your world? Becca says, yeah, we're wrapping up our 34-hour reset where we had overnight parking. That's great if you've got supplies on your truck. I'm always surprised how many people run out here with no emergency food in their truck, no emergency water. I generally have a case of water. I've generally got some canned goods. So if I broke down on the side of the road, or if I got stuck at a facility for an extended period of time, and it can happen with a reefer, that I'm going to be okay. I'm not having to order DoorDash or nothing like that. Steve says he canceled Game Pass too. Yeah, $30 a month is crazy. And from what I'm seeing on YouTube, so many people were canceling that it like crashed their website for a little while. But I wonder if they'll go back and rethink their new price increase when it's all said and done, when they realize how much of a financial hit they're going to take. Jose Reyes, Swift has inward facing. They do if you use the Swift insurance. If you go out and get your own insurance, they're currently not requiring the inward facing. But if you use the Swift insurance, they're using Lytics, which is just like what Prime uses. And let's be honest, I don't care what anybody tells you, they're going to use it for coaching. If you go to Lytics' website, that's one of the first things they advertise on the homepage, is that you can coach your drivers. So if you're going to do a lease purchase at Swift, absolutely get your own insurance. It'll save you a lot of trouble with safety. I know people that have been released from Swift because they got coached over that inward-facing camera. And here's the deal on the inward-facing camera. There's only one way that I can think that inward-facing camera ever benefits the driver. Maybe somebody else can tell me more. It took people forever to come up with this one. If you're a trainer, and I think they force it if you're a trainer too, and you've got someone on your truck and there was questions of sexual harassment or abuse or something like that, I can see where an inward-facing camera could benefit you. However, that's the only circumstance where I think an inward-facing camera benefits you. They're using AI technology. If you blink too much, it says you're fatigued. If you yawn out of boredom, not necessarily fatigue, just boredom, they can say you're fatigued. If you're opening a Coke can, they can say you're distracted. Eating is considered a distraction. So depending on the angle of the camera, if you're changing a radio station, it can say you're messing with your cell phone. I would not have an inward-facing camera. It's a deal breaker for me. And if I was at a company that implemented that, I would be gone. Whenever Swift, you guys might remember, whenever Swift started this talk way back when, it was 3 years ago. The reason I know that is I went and bought the Samsara camera or Samsara, and it came with a 3-year subscription. It just expired. But I had my own camera and I got my own insurance. And the reason I got the Samsara, it wasn't the cheapest option, but I figured I'd make videos about it because initially Swift gave you 4 camera options you could choose from. And Samsara looked like the best of the bunch to me. I enjoyed it for personal use, but they're actually using here at RE Garrison an outward facing Samsara camera. I wish I had access to it because I would use some of the driving footage in my videos. I have not talked to safety to see if I could get some of that footage, but I've got a GoPro that I'll set up at some point in here and get some driving footage that way. Or I may go to Walmart and get me a little. Actually, I've got several dash cams. I just need to put one of them in here. P.U. Patel, last I heard, Swift only has outward facing. Yes, they did. They've just recently made this change, and it's in all the company trucks already, from what I understand. And they're putting it in the owner-operator trucks that are using Swift's insurance. That's why Seabright and OIDA and all of them, so many people are getting their insurance from them right now at Swift so they can avoid that inward-facing camera. John Fuller, what lanes do they have you running? Do you have any say in what lane you prefer? Yeah, so they've got, man, this is a complicated question. I'm going to tell you what I know, and if anything I say sounds too good to be true, or if anybody thinks I'm full of malarkey, feel free to call the recruiter and verify what I'm saying. But they have several regional deals. They have several dedicated accounts. They also have over the road where you can run all 48. When you're in orientation, they ask you where you run, where you prefer to run, if there's anywhere that's an absolute no. And I told them I would run all 48. I had a preference to stay out of the Northeast, and they said they would honor that. They might send me a load that goes up there occasionally that I was free to turn down, but if they had a good paying load going that way, they would offer it to me. It would have to be super paying for me to go to the Northeast. I don't like the tolls. I realize most of the time you can go around them. I don't like the parking situation up there, the congestion. I don't like law enforcement up there. So most of the time for me, the Northeast is going to be a no. But the rest of the time, any other states, I don't mind going to. There was surprisingly a lot of people in orientation that didn't want to go to California or run out west. That's not me. A lot of guys didn't want to go west of I-35. That's not a problem for me. Quite honestly, since I've been here so far, I've mostly been running the Southeast, but my dispatcher was on vacation all but 2 of the days I've been running. So it's still kind of a work in progress, and I don't know where I'll be going. I would bet, though, I'm about to start heading out west if I was going to guess. But I've left that up to them. I'm going to trust the system, and as long as it makes sense to do that. Mark Ely, all good here. Just made dinner, ribeye, and salad. Man, that sounds so good. I would love to have a ribeye right now. All this pilot has is a Subway and then the pilot hot bar thing that they all have with the pizza that looks good but always tastes bad, and the meatloaf that you got a 50-50 shot with. You guys know what pilot offers. Becca, yeah, we always stocked up, usually on ramen, Chef Boyardee, and water as well. Yeah, I'll admit I'll put it under the bunk or somewhere that's not, extremely convenient, because I don't want to eat it when I'm bored. I want to eat it if I'm snowed in somewhere, if there's an accident in front of me and I'm stuck on the interstate for several hours, or something like that. But I tell you, it's not a bad idea. If you pull in a truck stop or in a rest area is even better example, and somebody's broke down, walk over and offer them a bottle of water. Maybe they need something little. Maybe they just, I have jumper cables. Maybe they just need a jump or something like that. That's how trucking used to be. I started in 1996. And back then, if you popped your hood, it wasn't going to be open long, and 2 or 3 guys would walk over. Hey, do you need help? Can I help you with something? And people weren't as divided as they are now. And I sure wish things would go back that way. Tron says, I know a guy who got written up because he touched his GPS. Yeah, that, I've had tons of people argue with me. Well, my company don't coach me. And there's a couple of things you got to consider there. Every single camera is mounted different, and yours might be mounted at just the right angle where you can get away with a lot, or yours might be mounted at the angle where it's oversensitive. And I would say if you're getting dinged a lot, maybe you talk to them about realigning it or something. But all you got to do is go to the website of the camera manufacturer that's on your windshield, whether it's Lytix, whether it's Samsara, and read the front page of the website. Every one of them brag about coaching. And I'm just, I've been driving 28 years, and I don't need some 20-year-old that just got out of college, or maybe not even completed college, telling me how to drive a truck, or a 24-year-old that's never been in a truck, probably couldn't start one, doesn't know the first thing about a pre-trip, telling me how to do that. Now, is there room for improvement? Absolutely. I haven't arrived. I'm not the perfect driver, but any of us can play armchair quarterback. Dak Prescott's going to play tomorrow, and I'm sure I can watch that game. And Monday morning, I can come on and I can go, well, he shouldn't have thrown that pass, or, he should have ran for a first down there, or, I can second guess the coach. Man, they should have done a running play there instead of passing. Or on defense, maybe they should have blitzed right there, or maybe they should have pulled the linebackers up and stopped that running play. It's real easy to play armchair quarterback after the fact, and I feel like that's what a lot of safety departments done. And they've got some advantages that you don't have when you're in the truck. When you're in the truck, you're making hundreds of split-second decisions every day. When they're sitting at their computer or their laptop and they're looking at what you did, they can pause it, they can rewind it. They've got the advantage of doing that. You don't have that advantage on the road. You're making the best split-second decision with the information that you have available to you at the time. And I think sometimes they forget that. Now, one thing I will say is I've had 2 occasions where I've met with safety or the safety person I deal with here at RE Garrison, and I've been really impressed. They don't seem like a gotcha company. Now, I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll come back on here and tell you. But I was really, really impressed with her. And I feel like we're in a good place. I've got her cell phone number, and I would feel very comfortable calling her if I had a logbook issue or something like that. They don't seem like a gotcha company. And like I said, I'm going off, less than a month's experience here. If I'm wrong, if I'm way off base, I will come back and tell y'all, because I just want y'all to make an informed decision. Whether you come here, whether you go somewhere else, I just want you to make an informed decision. If you come here, I'm going to do my best to help you if you contact me. You got a problem, I'll offer you advice. I've got people I call and ask for advice that work here, both in management and other drivers. And so I'll do that for you as well. Now, you guys know that these videos take a while to make, and I've got a lot of time invested. So sure, I would love it if you put if you called my recruiter, Stacy, and you told her that you'd been watching Trucker Todd. But even if you don't, I'm still going to help you. I mean, I shared it in another video. I receive absolutely nothing for the first 6 months you're here. So I'm not just trying to get you in the door and make a quick buck off of you. If you come here, I want you to be successful. And when I came here, I got a $2,500 sign-on bonus that they spread out over time. So I'm enjoying that. I don't know if that'll be available to you when you come here. That would be something you'd want to ask about as well. They did talk about wrapping it up pretty soon, but I don't have any insider information. They treat me like a normal driver here. I don't have any inside information that I can share with you, but hopefully at some point I will have. But anyway, Nicholas Earl, it's still only outward facing. No, sir, they've already made announcements on it that they're rolling that out. Now, it may not be in your truck yet if you're working there, but they are rolling that out for everyone that is using Swift insurance. There's been articles on it and everything. I would encourage you to call them and ask them about it. Let's see here if I can get it to come up. Got a hello from Life on 18 Wheels. Hello, Life. Thank you for being here, my friend. Nicholas Earl. Swift isn't putting inward-facing cams in the owner-operator trucks or company trucks. All right, you're free to disagree with me, but I'm telling you they are. If you have the Swift insurance, that's why so many people are getting their own private insurance. Life on 18 Wheels. How are you liking R.E. Garrison? So far, so good. It's tough. I'm sure you can relate when you're used to picking your own loads and negotiating your own rates. But I'm trying to adapt slowly but surely. I got to get down and get this one. Sorry, I missed it. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator. Been a member for 23 months, coming up on his 2-year anniversary. Membership has its privileges. My suggestion for no ties, play 7 on 7 for 10 minutes. If it's still tied, go to field goal, start at the 40 and back 5 yards each round. That would be great because we got an amazing kicker at the Cowboys, probably the best in the history of the NFL. But it's just so rare when there's a tie in the NFL like that I don't know that they're going to do a whole lot about it. Smaller Holler is here. Just checking in. Good to talk to you earlier this week, Trucker Todd. Have to watch the whole thing on the replay. I appreciate that. Did I miss another email from you? I think I emailed you back today. I had some emails that fell through the cracks, and I didn't know if you were one of them I missed or not. Nicholas Earl, Dak Prescott is an armchair quarterback, LOL. Well, there's a lot of people that feel that way, but statistically, he's one of the best in the NFL. And this last game he played, even his detractors were commenting about what a great game he had. What's his name? The guy on ESPN that's always giving the Cowboys grief. Is his name Steven? I want to say Stephen Jones, but that ain't right. I saw him even having to kind of back up a little bit. Life on 18 Wheels, they still do. That's how I found out it was my tractor protection valve that needed replacing. An older gentleman just walked over while my hood was open and helped me out. Yeah, it's awesome when you got people that do that. I was always impressed by my dad growing up because he could just walk by a vehicle and tell you what was wrong with it. He was very mechanically inclined. I remember as a kid, if I had electronics or something that broke, he'd get out his soldering gun and take it apart and he could fix it. And his mom, my grandmother, actually told me as a kid that he would oftentimes take stuff apart and figure out how it was made and what did what, put it back together. So I sure miss him and his knowledge and on things like that and wisdom on things like that. Becca says hubby checked his safety info on the tablet we use for his logs, found out for Route 66 transportation, he's number 1 out of 11. And for overall, he's out of 48 drivers. Mr. Jack, our boss, he's number 1. Yeah, that's great. My safety score here at this company is a 98. And I'm nowhere near the top, which I find hard to believe. That means there's a whole lot of 99s and 100s here. And I look for my score to climb as I learn what their safety perimeters are and what they're looking for and things like that. Mine, I'll just tell you, my 2 points is mostly for speeding, what it calls minor speeding. And I'm sure it's because I usually do 2 or 3 miles over the speed limit. And I guess they're counting that as minor speeding. I would also say that sometimes that thing gets it wrong. And it'll say that, and my GPS does too, it'll say you're in a 55 zone and it's really a 70 zone. Or it'll say it's a 70 zone and it's not. So I don't think those things are 100%, but I'm prepared to defend myself with a 98 score. That's still an A+ in most books. P.U. Patel, people don't stop and help because newer trucks need computer diags. They aren't as easy to work on like before. That's another great point, P.U. You are correct about that. You're kind of limited what you can do, but you'd be surprised how many people have minor stuff that we can help with. A dead battery. You'd be surprised how many people that'll sit there with a dead battery and don't realize they can jump it off with their reefer, or they've ran their truck out of DEF and all they need is a little DEF and their truck will go. Your truck will actually reach a point where it won't start if you run it completely out of DEF. And so I agree with you for the most part. I'm surprised how many people run around with dead batteries on their cell phones. And then when they break down, they can't call for help. And you say, well, you got your ELD. My ELD, you'd be amazed how much of the time it loses signal or has a very weak signal. TC Boggs, hey, Todd, checking in. Hope you're kicking butt at Garrison. I'm trying, man. It's too soon to know how I'm doing. I think I'm doing okay. I'm blissfully ignorant is maybe the word I want to use. I'm too new here to know, but everything seems okay so far. My dispatcher's been on vacation most of the time that I've been driving here, so I haven't really got to see what it's going to be like yet. But the people that I've communicated with and dealt with have been good so far. I know I've made a lot of people mad coming here. Having a smile on my face, I've found out, really irritates a lot of people. Nicholas Earl, I'm here. You're allowed to cover it up. All right, let's take that argument for a minute, Nicholas Earl. Let's say that you're right. Let's say that everything you're saying is true. First, you told me there wasn't one, and now you're telling me there is one, but they cover it up. Let's say that there is one and they cover it up. How's that going to look to a jury or to a courtroom if you get in an accident? Just asking. And if there is one in the truck, but you can cover it up, why even have one in the truck? And don't tell me that they come on every Samsara truck and there's nothing Swift can do about it, because I'll gladly show you mine. It doesn't have an inward-facing camera. Nicholas Earl, calm down with the best in the NFL talk. Well, the numbers don't lie. I've seen several statistics where they compare him to some of the quarterbacks of all time, including Tom Brady, including Troy Aikman. And I'm not saying he's perfect, but I'm saying he gets blamed for a lot of things that aren't his fault. And I can think of several interceptions this year and last year that he put the ball right where it needed to be, and the receiver bobbed it up and it got intercepted. So every interception that happens isn't his fault. Now, I can also point to a couple of boneheaded mistakes he made, but I got a lot of respect for Dak Prescott. I still like him a lot, and I'm glad we've got him at the Cowboys. Medulla, I'm not even going to try. I know, anyway, you need to worry about making money, not giving advice to people more successful than you. Well, what I'm wondering is I haven't posted any numbers, so how do people know what my success level is here at R.E. Garrison? I would like to think that after 28 years, I've got a little bit of information to share. But even if I don't, if I don't know what I'm talking about, then my next question would be, what are you doing here? Why are you watching me? If you don't think I know what I'm talking about, there's thousands of YouTubers. Pick another channel and go over there. Won't hurt my feelings at all. You think the livelihood of my channel depends on a troll like you? Come on now. TC Boggs, as a Bears fan, we enjoyed playing the Cowboys. Yeah, I bet you did. I was actually thinking about you as they were beating us. And Life on 18 says he replaced it himself. Yeah, it's that tractor protection valve. I did a valve on my other truck, the one I had before this one. It was what was that sensor called? Air brake drag sensor. It's up under the dash, basically back kind of in the corner behind or above the accelerator pedal. And it wasn't impossible, but it was hard to get my chubby little hands in there for sure. Yeah, that's it. Nicholas Earl says Stephen A. Smith. Yep, that's who it was. So you must have seen it too. TC Boggs. Oh, yeah, the cameras are obnoxious, especially with stop signs. You have to make sure the dash shows 0, even if you're already at a complete stop. Otherwise, it'll ding you. Yeah, some companies have like a 15-second deal there, which I think's insane. But sometimes you need to stop and go. If you sit there for 15 seconds, there's going to be oncoming traffic and you're not going to be able to get across there. And that's a great point you're making. Also, these automatic trucks, they don't accelerate like a manual. Smaller Holler says he didn't get an email today. Did I respond to all your emails, though, or if I got one I still hadn't responded to? Nicholas Earl says, yeah, TC, it's only going to get worse with AI. Yeah, we can definitely agree on that. AI is not your friend. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator with the $20 super sticker. Wow, I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. I saw on another YouTuber's channel, got seen a clip and I went and watched it, or got sent a clip and went and watched it. And another YouTuber was razzing me about having channel memberships and super stickers and all of that. I thought it was funny because he was privately crying that he couldn't figure out how to monetize his channel. He thought it was just subscribers. He didn't realize that he doesn't meet the qualifications for watch hours because nobody's watching his channel. But he was talking crap about me over there, having a good time. And I just laughed. It's silly how jealous everybody gets. And I actually helped him start his channel. He wouldn't have, I feel comfortable saying he wouldn't have one today if it wasn't for me. I encouraged him, gave him advice, and Now he's got a decent sized channel, but he's just not getting enough watch time to get monetized. All right, I'm getting back to where I was. Hey, here's Chris Bollinger. He says, "What's up, bro? Man, I'm surprised you're here." He is usually asleep by now. He when the sun goes down, he does too. He's asleep at dark, but good to have you here. Chris Bollinger, I did 8350 this week, Newman. Just saying. Yeah, Bollinger was on fire this week, but be careful giving numbers on here. Somebody will say you're getting ripped off, that they did 15,000 this week. Instead of everybody congratulating you, somebody's always got to say they outdid you. That's why I don't do numbers no more. I'll talk to people individually, and if they need to know, I'll share that information. Life on 18, if the Canberry can see any part of the interior of the truck, it's an inward-facing camera. I've seen the video recording of the new camera Swift use, and it can see inside. Yeah, I'll tell you another one, and this was happening with, I want to say it was SFI. They only had outward-facing, but the way they were mounting them, it was getting a reflection off the windshield, and they could still see in the cab. Nicholas Earl, as a Lions fan, I enjoy playing the Bears. Yeah, I bet you do. And TC Boggs with the laughy face. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator. I wanted to leave a super chat, didn't like my football comment. Oh, okay. I like all your comments as long as they're not vulgar. Smaller holler. No, we caught up on the emails before we talked on the phone. Okay, good deal. I always worry about somebody falling through the cracks. On a typical morning, I wake up to between 30 and 50 emails. Now, not all of them are YouTube related, but quite a few of them are. And that's not counting text and missed phone calls and all that. Typically takes me about an hour and a half to get caught up on everything when I wake up. But I definitely enjoyed talking to you this week, and holler at me anytime. TC Boggs says, nice, Chris, way to hustle. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I've seen some YouTubers saying the spot market's trash and you can't make money on the spot market. And Chris is doing exactly that right now. He's killing it on the spot market. So I think there's a lot of reason for it. He's got good people skills. He's great at building relationships with brokers. He's business minded. He's owned businesses in the past. So I think there's a lot of reasons for his success, and he works hard. He deserves it for sure. George says, howdy. Hey, George, thank you for being here. Becca was in here earlier. I don't know if she's still here or not. But we're caught up on the comments. You guys are doing great. We're at the 1 hour and 20-minute mark. So we're at the point where I asked everybody to please give this video a thumbs up, if you can see my thumbs. Share this video on your social media platforms, and make sure you're subscribed. After you subscribe, click that bell and select all so that you receive notifications when future videos come out. All of those things are free to do, and they really, really help the channel. The main thing is, though, it makes YouTube suggest these videos to more people. And man, you ought to see the analytics. I put them up on the community post the other day when we got to 7,500 subscribers. But things have tripled from where they were prior to me working for R.E. Garrison. So we're getting back to Swift level phone calls, people calling, asking questions, asking for advice. And so I'm pretty pumped about it, man. I appreciate everybody coming in here and supporting the channel like you have. George says, just woke up. She's still here. Ah, okay. Yep, there she is. Becca says, I'm still here. For those that don't know, George and Becca are husband and wife. And they're driving around in a pretty nice T680, if I'm not mistaken, a blue one. And John Fuller, I'm getting 8.3 all the time, too. Depends on hills and wind. Yeah, and to be fair, every reefer load is not maxed out, but most of them are pretty close. If you get 41, 42,000, you're pretty close when you got that reefer back there. TC says, nice. Yeah, I agree. That is nice. We still got 32 in here, so we're going to hang around as long as y'all are going like this. See there, I'm glad you corrected me. I'd have been all over YouTube tomorrow as a liar. You're number one out of 47, not 48. Becca almost had it right. It's a 579, not a T680. Okay, so that's even better. I like the 579 better than the T680 for a weird reason. Y'all are going to scold me. That's fine. I like that top bunk on a Peterbilt 579 because it folds in half and you can use it like a big shelf. You take the mattress out and you can store, food and supplies up there. So I really like the way they do the top bunk. I wish you could get the same thing on a Kenworth. But the intention was not to mislead anybody. I've just seen pictures of the truck and it's been a while. When they first started working there, they sent me pictures of the truck. Becca says, nope, it's a 579. Yeah, I appreciate y'all clarifying that for me. I never come on here with the intentions of misleading anybody, but sometimes I'll get some information wrong, and I don't mind correcting myself if I say something wrong. And that's why I say if I've got Stacy's information there in the ticker going across the bottom of the screen, her phone number, her email. If I say anything on here that you're like, man, that can't be true, that sounds too good to be true, or Todd's got to be lying about that, call her and ask her. She definitely knows a lot more about the company than I do. I'm just sharing my experience with you, good and bad. And I find it funny when it's good, y'all go, oh, you're a recruiter, you're trying to recruit. And when it's bad, they go, oh, you're probably fixing to quit. You're not happy anywhere. I'm just exactly like every one of y'all. I have good days at work and I have bad days at work. And earlier this week, I had a bad day at work. I was pretty upset. And about the time I thought I was going to have to escalate it, talk to some of the higher ups, they fixed it better than I could have imagined, better than I would have suggested. And so I'm good. And that's why I don't come on here and make a video every time there's a disagreement or every time I don't get my way. I try to work on things behind the scenes, just like you do. One of the worst things you can do if you're married is to call your spouse and tell them every little problem you're having at work, because they get amped up, they get upset, and then it prolongs the situation. Same thing, if you get in a fight with your spouse, the worst thing you can do is call your mom or a sibling and tell them about it, because they stay mad long after you've forgiven your spouse and moved on. Well, you remember the time she did this, or you remember the time he did that. It's just best to kind of keep that stuff private and deal with it behind the scenes. Chris Bollinger, I'm thinking about going to Swift at $1.50 a mile. The 3,200 miles I ran this week would have paid me $4,800. It just makes sense to make the switch. Sorry, Scott. Yeah, in your situation, you could go there and cut your pay in half. I like Swift. They did me very well. I got a lot of merch while I was there too. Probably the most merch I've ever got from a company. Like I said, I've still got people I talk to there, both drivers and in the office. And 2.5 years from now, who knows? I'm not saying I'd never be there again, but I hate moving trucks. And I always hope that my next job is my last job. And nothing would make me happier if I got out of trucking working here at RE Garrison. I don't I don't want a job hop. I don't want to go somewhere else. It's a pain in the butt to move trucks. And you lose a week, at least a week's pay going to orientation somewhere, anywhere really, because your last job holds your final check for 45 days. And a lot of these companies, unless they're ones like where Chris is that pay after every load, you wait till you fall in line with their pay week. And yeah, despite what you hear on the internet, I hate changing jobs. I don't like changing cars either. I've had my pickup for, I don't know, 6, 8 years anyway, because I don't like changing vehicles. Get one you like and hang on to it. Drive it till the wheels fall off. George says, glad you're doing well. Thank you, my friend. It seems like y'all are doing well too, which is good to hear. They went through, I'm not going to air their dirty laundry on here, but they went through kind of a rough patch. And they've kind of landed on their feet, and they're doing well now, too. So that's good to see. Chris says his new 579 is averaging 9 right at the moment. 74 grossing 80. Shocked out of my mind over it. Well, the deal about Chris's truck, though, it actually doesn't use diesel fuel. It's a solar powered truck, and if you drive it after dark, it'll actually shut down pretty quick on you. He special ordered it from the factory without headlights. Becca says, I'm thinking of doing another video for the truck soon. We need to give her a bath also. Yeah, that would be good. Just kind of a follow-up video. Y'all hadn't put one out lately, and you've got some pretty loyal followers too. Let them know how, let everybody know how y'all are doing over there. George says, finally beginning to do well. Well, that's great. If you can do well in this economy, then when things are on the uptick again, you're going to be doing really well. And I'm preaching to the choir here, but when things get really well again, don't do like I did and live a lavish lifestyle. Put that money back for a rainy day. I know that sounds like common sense, but I guarantee you if the tide turns again and things get great, I'm going to be hyper focused on paying off debt. Becca, yes, we're doing much better now. We love it here. Yeah, I definitely understand the appeal of small companies. And the company y'all are at is a little bit bigger than the one I was at. But it seems like y'all landed on your feet and found a place that works for you. That's what it's all about. And, you know, I guess I got to address this because it was said again about me this week. You know, if I was really a referrer, and all I was after was recruiting bonuses, A, I wouldn't pick a company where I got to wait 6 months to get paid. But B, I'd be contacting you and George, and I would be going, hey, I know you're happy there, but come over here with me. You know, I know you like what you're doing, but stop doing that and coming over with me. And that's just not me. If you called me and said, hey, should I come over there to RE Garrison? I'd say, why do you want to? You've got a good deal. You're happy where you're at. And I would basically try to talk you out of it unless you had something that, well, they can't get us home, or our equipment keeps breaking down. They won't give us another truck, or, you know, if you had a legitimate reason, then I would. But if you're happy doing what you're doing, and I've had this happen. Hey, Todd, I make $2,000 a week as a company driver. Should I lease a truck? No. Yeah, you might make a couple of hundred extra a week, but you might not. You've got a good deal if you're a company driver making $2,000 a week. TC Boggs that you've seen in the chat, he's a company driver. He's got a really good deal. I would not, if he called me and said, hey, should I come to R.E. Garrison? We'd have a long conversation about why do you want to? You've got a good deal where you're at. Do you want to come as a company driver? Because we do have company driver jobs here, but I don't even know what they pay for company driver here. I'm guessing it's going to be significantly less than what he makes right now. So I'd be trying to talk him out of it, not trying to sucker him into doing something. And that's what I think separates me from a lot of these YouTubers. Now, they try to lump me in the same group because it fits a narrative they'd like it to fit. Another one, Midlife Trucker that's in here a lot. He's a company driver. He makes very good money. If he called me and said, hey, Todd, you think I should lease a truck? Absolutely not. I think you should keep doing what you're doing as long as you possibly can. And people say, well, Todd, why should I listen to you for advice? Well, because I've made a lot of mistakes. I can definitely tell you what not to do. And if I can tell you what not to do, you can oftentimes figure out what to do. Or if we brainstorm between the two of us, we can figure out what you shouldn't do. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator, had a negative week. Water pump went out on me, took $1,300 out of me. Yeah, I was actually surprised a water pump on a truck was that cheap. I figured they'd be more than that. George says, I don't want to live a lavish lifestyle, just want to have a good life and not want for anything. I've been criticized for this a lot, but to me, and everybody's different. If I put on here, I made 1,800 this week, and I'm not saying that's my numbers. I'm just saying, or if I said I made 2,500 this week, somebody would come on here and go, Todd, I made 3,000. They're ripping you off. Todd, I made 4,000. They're ripping you off. And for me, it's not about money. It's as much as I want to be able to spend time with family. Right now, I'm not successful in my mind because I'm having to stay out 2 to 3 weeks at a time, which I realize is standard and over the road. But I can still consider myself successful if when I get home, I'm able to spend time with family, if I'm able to go out to restaurants with them, things like that, if the bills at the house are paid. So I'm with you. Now, could I work more and get numbers that I could brag about? Sure. But to me, it's more important to be active in my grandkids' life. It's more important to spend time with family and things like that. And to people that aren't going through it, they don't understand that. Chris Bollinger, got to get in bed, sir. 2 hours past my bedtime. Adios. Yes, sir. Have a great night. Holler at me when you get back on the road. Alaska Hall, do you like Garrison over Swift? Well, they're different. I didn't leave Scott over the company. I left because the truck was nickel and diming me to death. So they're different. Scott was a dry van on the spot market. This is a reefer on contract freight. They both got their pros and cons. I did love the freedom I had over there. And I think in the ideal world, it'd be this truck over there. But I could definitely, it's kind of like truck selection. I could tell you 10 good and 10 bad about every truck manufacturer. Things I like, things I don't like. And same thing, I could tell you 2 or 3 things I didn't like about working over there. And I could tell you 2 or 3 things I don't like about working over here. And same thing about likes. I could tell you 2 or 3 good things about both places. But he's a good guy, and I wish him the best. And I'm not never. He's kind of like Swift. I'm never going to say never that I wouldn't work there again. But I didn't come over here with the intentions of quitting either. So I'm gonna plug everything I can into this and try to make it work. And so far I'm happy here too. I was thinking about this because, man, I've been called everything but a white man the last few weeks, and I was trying to think. I haven't really worked at a lot of places that I wasn't happy, and maybe that's my attitude, and maybe that's I just get lucky or whatever. But I generally tend to like wherever I'm at. But what's killed me, and I talked about this in a video recently, was maintenance, and that's what's killing a lot of people right now. And being in a newer truck, I'm in a 2024 with a warranty, and having a company that'll financially stand behind me if I get in a pickle, that makes all the difference in the world in this economy right now. Now, originally I thought, man, I'm putting way too much money in maintenance, and maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But as I talk to drivers that are breaking down and going into shops, and I'm hearing about prices and what things are costing and how much everything's going up in price, I'm thinking I might be about right on maintenance. And so we'll just have to see. The thing I like about here, and I'm bringing this up, I'm not mentioning any other YouTubers, but somebody mentioned Hirschbach a little bit ago and their 10 cents maintenance. The thing that nobody talks about with that 10 cents maintenance is when you get to the end of the lease, you don't get any of that money back. Whatever's left over, they keep. When I get to the end of the lease, whatever's left over is my money. I get it back. So that's a huge difference that I don't know that everybody considers. The 10 cent maintenance and the hotel and all of that is nice, but I'd much rather get to the end of the lease and get that money back. They also return it to you if you quit. So if I have $10,000 in there and I quit, I get that money back minus any deductions for cleaning, recovery, whatever things that they might have to do, maintenance, things like that. Just like leasing an apartment, when you move out of the apartment, you've got a security deposit and they deduct some stuff out and you get what's left over. So that's I may do a video on the differences pretty soon, but that's some of the big differences and why I like this deal a little bit better. Not saying Hirschbach's a bad deal. I'm just saying that they've got a couple areas where I think I've got a better deal over here. George says, good night, Chris. Sleep well. RCE says, hi, Trucker Todd. Just listening and enjoying. Hear you tell it like it is. Well, thank you. It's funny. Somebody the other day, I still get a lot of comments about how soothing my voice is. Somebody that is in upper mid management at RE Garrison said, hey, Todd, I was watching me and my girlfriend were laying in bed the other night. We were listening to your video, and he said, I fell asleep. He said, I got to go back and watch the rest of it. And I laughed, and I said, yeah, everybody says my voice is so smooth and level that it like relaxes them and puts them to sleep. He started laughing. He said, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I said, either that or I'm really boring, but either way, I appreciate you watching. John Fuller, oops, I skipped somebody. George says, it's always nice when somebody tells it like it is. Yeah, I really, it's tough because, and I've said it a few times in this video, but you can go back and read the comments. If I say something good, and it might be anything, I can get out and go, man, I like the color of my truck. Oh, you're just recruiting. You're just trying to get people to come over there. And then I can do a video and go, well, I had a flat tire this morning. You're not happy anywhere. Everywhere you go, you have truck problems. It's like, man, I can't win. I can say I've got the greatest dispatcher in the world. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're just trying to get people over there. They probably just gave her to you because you're Trucker Todd. I probably can't get that dispatcher. And if I go, man, she was off today. She went on vacation. Oh, see there, you just ain't happy anywhere. So it's frustrating because I mean, would I love it if 100 people came here and everybody put me as their referral bonus and 6 months from now I got paid on it? Absolutely. Am I calling my landlord going, hey, I'm not going to be able to pay you rent for the next 6 months, but in 6 months I'll make it right? No. Am I looking at property I can buy in 6 months because all these referrals are going to be coming in? Absolutely not. I don't know how I'll know if I do get one. It's going to have to be the honor system because, man, it'd be impossible to track that for 6 months. And for those of you that think I'm a job hopper, I won't be here in 6 months anyway, so I'm not going to get it. I don't get it, man. There's a group of people that they sit around, and one of them's a YouTuber that used to be a friend. They sit around and they just think negative all the time. And one of the things he said was, and I was going to show y'all, I didn't bring it back here, but this Road Warrior headset, this is the RW2. I've playlisted my videos. Y'all can go back and watch that video. There's a code in there that you get a 20% discount. And I make nothing on that. I promise you, I'm not receiving any commission. I'm just doing that to help you guys out. This headset broke, this RW2, the boom on it broke, and they sent me another one free of charge. But on top of that, they sent me this air freshener thing for the truck. And I was going to show it in a video. I really appreciate those things. And I would argue that's why a lot of these companies want to work with me and why I get a lot of things that other YouTubers don't get. Because when they send me something, I say, thank you. I mention it in a video, even if I'm not getting a commission. And it's a great headset. I like it. The other YouTuber, he started bad-mouthing it when he found out he wasn't getting a commission. And I just don't play ball that way. I tell you the truth. If this headset sucked, I'd tell you it sucks. And one of the best compliments I get is when I run into one of y'all in a truck stop and they say, hey, I saw your review. I bought that product and it was absolutely like you said. That's one of the best comments I get. Or I went to this trucking company and it was exactly like you said. I've got several people that went to F2F and they're like, when I got there, it was exactly like you said. And over time it changed. Well, I can't control that. Companies change over time, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I've had some about R.E. Garrison. I worked here 2 years ago and it sucked. That's very possible. But I know they've made a lot of changes. I'm probably going to make a video about it because I've got some people doubting me and talk about some of the changes I'm aware of just in the short time I've been here. And so, yeah, that's what I would say about that. All right, let's see what we got here. John Fuller, that EW4 Freightliner. Okay, I got a problem. Hang on a second, guys. For some reason, my laptop is not charging. We're about to have it came unplugged. Hang on. We got to get it plugged back in or we're going to be ending the live show very quickly. Come on. Okay, I think we're safe for the time being. Says that EW4 Freightliner warranty has replaced my fuel pump, water pump, oil cooler, DEF pump, DPF filters, NOx sensors, and many more things and never cost me a dime. Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. I saw a video earlier today and somebody was talking about the NP warranty, aftermarket warranty you can get. And the deal on any warranty is you want to read the fine print. The devil's always in the details. But anyway, he was saying that it's got a clause in there that if it's normal wear and tear, they don't cover it. Well, almost every engine you could attribute to normal wear and tear. So that seems like a cop out in a lot of cases. But I mean, he made a good point in his video that every warranty, their job is to get out of paying it if they can find a way. Now, like you're saying, the Freightliner warranties are a little better because Freightliner's goal is to keep you as a long-term customer. So the warranties are going to generally be a little more expensive, but it's worth it for that reason. George says, you don't see me trying to drop everything and run to R.E. Garrison just because you're doing well over there. You're not recruiting anyone, just being honest. And that in and of itself is wonderful. Yeah, that's what I told this other YouTuber. He asked me when we were still talking, hey, Todd, how can I recruit a lot of people? And I said, it's real easy. Drive the truck and be successful. He said, what do you mean? I said, if you're successful, if you're happy, you don't have to tell people use my referral link. Come over here. People are like, hey, man, you must be doing good. You're smiling. When I was at the last company I was with, I was walking around a Love's, and one of the Love's employees walked up to me, and she said, you look really happy. She said, wherever you work, it must be a good company. And I said, why is that? She said, because you're just walking around with this big grin on your face. She said, you look happy. And so I know that if I drive the truck, everything else will take care of itself. And it's like I said, I don't, when people call me, and it's pretty easy to get my number, email me, I'll give you my number as long as you're not a psycho, and I'll talk to you on the phone. Now, as Smaller Hauler found out, it may take me I think it took me almost a week to get him called back, but we had a pretty good talk on the phone. Some of you have found out if we're passing through the same areas, I'll have lunch with you. We'll talk. I don't have a problem doing that. Smaller Hauler was passing through the Coleman area when I was going through orientation, and I didn't see his email quick enough, or we'd have had lunch together. And I've met several of you out on the road. But the real secret to being successful at recruiting or trucking or anything else is just drive the truck. Run it like a business. And be honest with people. If you make a mistake, say, hey, I screwed up. I told them when I went to R.E. Garrison, I said, I don't make very many mistakes, but when I do, they're usually pretty bad ones, and they just laugh. I said, but you don't have to worry about catching me. When I screw up, I'll call you and tell you. And they were like, really? And I said, yeah, I would rather tell you and deal with the consequences than I had try to get away with it and wonder if today's the day you're going to catch me. And so I'm going to be the biggest snitch on me. Now, I'm a live and let live kind of guy. If the guy beside me is doing something, I'm not going to call and tell on him. But if I mess up, if I've got a hard break or something, I'll call you and tell you, hey, I had a deer ran out in front of me. You can check the tape if you want to. We got a little button in our truck that'll trigger the camera. If I can, I'll hit that button where you can see it for yourself. Telling people the good and bad is just the way it works. You're going to have a lot better results than if you're trying to sneak stuff by. $18-wheeler, I just replaced my alternator. I bet that costs $1 or $2. I remember that starter we put on that last truck I had. It was like $1,200 or $1,300, which I thought was insane. I've got a relative right now that's getting ready to replace an alternator on a 2012 Ford Edge with the 4-cylinder EcoBoost. And they're talking like it's going to be a $1,200 or $1,300 repair, and I just don't see how. I offered to have, I've got a mobile mechanic that does that kind of stuff in Lubbock. I offered to have my guy looked at it, and they said, nope, they had it covered. So, okay. If you change your mind, I'm here to help. Channel member moderator, we talk. Yes, sir, we sure do. Robbie Ross, a good friend. We talk several times a week. 18-wheeler, why not just be company? Maintenance is costly. Tires are costly. Being an owner-operator is on life support these days. Well, I don't know if you were here earlier. Chris Bollinger just grossed $8,350 this week as an owner-operator. I don't know if it's on life support or if he's on life support or not. It's definitely not for everybody. And most people that call me, I know that you and I have never talked on the phone. Most people that call me and say they want to do a lease purchase, I usually try to talk them out of it for several reasons. First reason is I want to see if they've really got their heart in it or if they're just doing it because it's the cool thing to do. One of the first questions I always ask is, why do you want to do it? And if they say more money, that's not a reason to do it, because you're right. There's no guarantee that you're going to make more money. There's no guarantee if I move back to Lubbock and open a restaurant that it's going to be the next Applebee's or the next Outback Steakhouse. Opening a business is risky. And quite honestly, there's a better chance that you'll fail than succeed. And most people do fail several times. Look at Donald Trump. Look at how many businesses he's had that's filed bankruptcy. Look at Abraham Lincoln, how many times he failed before he became president. I have my own personal reasons for why I do it, but I also have a lot of reasons why I don't think most people that are doing it should be doing it. And if it's something you're considering, I'll be happy to have that conversation with you. But the narrative that I'm pushing it on people or that I'm encouraging people to do it is far from the truth. I'll do my best to talk you out of it, especially if you've got little kids at home. I'm an empty nester. All my kids are grown. My grandkids are almost grown. And so I'm in a little bit different life situation than most people. Yeah, I can definitely respect somebody that doesn't want to do it, but I can definitely understand why somebody would want to do it as well. Robbie Ross, channel member, moderator. We talked today and you made a comment to me. If I said I was going to leave where I'm at, you would talk me out of it. Yeah, that's true. I had forgot about that, but I had this exact conversation with Robbie Ross, who's a channel member and a moderator. I don't know if I said that or not. Dart Transit, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie Ross, has treated him very good. He lives out in Phoenix, which is way outside of Dart's hiring area, but they get him home on a regular basis. They treat him well. He's got good relationships with people in the office, and it's a perfect fit for him. And I told him today on the phone, we were just talking about companies and things. I said, they're good to you. I said, you need to stay there no matter what. He's like, oh, yeah, I like it here. I said, because if you called me and said, hey, Todd, I'd like to come over there to R.E. Garrison with you, I'd try to talk you out of it. I mean, why? Because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. R.E. Garrison, you might get a terrible dispatcher. You might get a great dispatcher. The same people that I enjoyed dealing with in orientation, you might despise. But you know the devils you're dealing with at Dart, and you work well with them. So as long as it makes sense and you're happy, stay where you're at. I'm not going to try to influence you to come somewhere else. And it's funny that we talked about that today. I hadn't planned on talking about this tonight, but he's correct. We did discuss that earlier today. And he's like, yeah, something pretty big would have to happen for me to leave here. And I don't blame him. When he wants to go on his vacations, they don't give him any grief about it. His truck's been good to him up until recently, and he's had a few little things. He wants to keep it. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this or not. He wants to keep it about a year past paying it off, and then he wants to upgrade. And they've kind of frozen getting new trucks right now, but he's hoping by then that some new trucks will be available. But he's a perfect example. He's been on the lease purchase. He's getting ready to pay it off, I believe this month or here pretty soon. And I mean, the lease purchase has been good to him. Nomadic Brit. Wow, that's a cool name. Sir and chat, good evening all. Owner op for 10 years as a tanker. I think he meant tanker yanker with the big orange. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Another company that I think a lot of people don't consider about tanker, and I don't know if they're good or bad, is Prime. Prime has a tanker division. I don't know if it's as expansive as what Big Orange is, but I think a lot of people forget that they've got a flatbed and tanker division as well. Becca says, hey, Nomadic Brit, I don't do referrals. My advice is free. Yeah, my advice is free too. There are YouTubers out there. There was a YouTuber that comes to mind a couple of years ago that he wouldn't even talk to you on the phone unless you paid him. And that's not me. I don't ask people when they call, hey, did you refer me? And if you didn't, I'm not talking to you. What I'm saying, it's kind of like the super chats and everything in here. If you feel led to do that, then great. I appreciate it. But even if you don't, I'm still going to give you my opinion. If R.E. Garrison offers you a load, and I've had it happen this week, guys have sent me loads. Hey, R.E. Garrison sent me this. What do you think? You think I should do it? I'm going to give you my 10 cents worth, and then you can decide if you want to take it or leave it. But I didn't say, hey, well, you weren't my referral, figure it out. Or, I'm thinking about getting this for my truck. Do you think I should? What GPS do you think I should use? Those kind of things. I don't say, well, you didn't put me as a referral, so I'm not going to help you. But by the same time, I'm pumping these videos out. Now, I am monetized by YouTube. We all know that. It's not a secret. But if you man, I appreciate all the advice. I am going to use the recruiter, he said, and I am going to get him the referral bonus. It doesn't cost me nothing, and it helps him. So why wouldn't I do that? So, but yeah, I think we are to help people regardless of whether we get something out of the deal or not. George says, how do you know I'm not a psycho? LOL. I'm a truck driver after all. We are all a little psychotic. Well, because that's actually a good question, because I've had 3 really bad psychos that I felt like I was in a dangerous position at one point or another. You and I worked for the same company. I watched a few of your wife's videos, and she seemed normal. And then the recruiter I had was very familiar with y'all, and she had told me about y'all. And so I felt reasonably comfortable talking to y'all on the phone and dealing with y'all. Now, had I talked to you on the phone and I'd have thought, George is unstable or Becca's unstable, then I would have just blocked your number, or I would have not returned your calls. But I mean, y'all are both hardworking people that are just trying to make it out here. And unfortunately, due to the constraints of time, I don't get to talk to y'all a lot, but I know y'all are good people just trying to make it. Hey, look who's here. Shannon Thomas. Good evening, everyone. Hey, thank you for being here. Good to see you again. Nomadic Brit. Shannon, yeah, she's got a pretty successful YouTube channel. If y'all hadn't seen her stuff, go check her out. I'll admit I hadn't seen one of her videos in a while. I need to get over there and see what's going on in her world. Becca says, hey, Shannon. Yeah, George and Shannon, if y'all aren't, George and Becca, if y'all aren't familiar with Shannon Thomas Trucking, you ought to check her channel out. She puts out some really good content. George says, I'm just kidding around. I'm not psycho, at least for the most part. I'm pretty chill. I I have my moments. I can be psycho. Last night, when I couldn't get that foreigner out of my way so I could pull out of the dock, and then I look over and he's taking a leak literally right outside my door facing me. I lost it when I did one of my very first lives, and some guy came up and knocked on my door. I lost it in that video too. So I'm getting better about not losing my temper as quickly. The stroke took a lot of fire out of me. I'm a lot of people say I'm not the same guy. Somebody was telling me the other day that because of all the weight loss that my face looks a lot better, and I'm like, well, how ugly was I before? And but yeah, people are telling me I look a lot better, but I just don't have the fight in me that I used to have no more. If you're mad at me, I'd much rather sit down and talk to you and try to work it out with you than I had beat you up. And you know, that other YouTuber that wants to trash me literally in every single video he does tells me a couple of things. One, I live rent free in his brain. And two, we could probably work it out if he would quit being such a hypocrite and contact me. But, you know, he's blocked me and he's being a crybaby about things, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't want to argue no more. And, you know, it's meant that I've got a couple of family members that I've had to sever ties with and cut contact with. And sometimes you got to do that. You can forgive them and not have ill will towards them, but you can just determine that your life's a lot happier without them in it. There's Shannon Thomas with the emojis. All right, I got to take a drink. Y'all may get to see my shiny head in a minute. This hat's making my head hot. Michael says, evening there, tanker division is mostly food grade. Yeah, if I was going to do tanker, that's what I'd want to do. I wouldn't want to mess with hazmat. I had a good friend that's since passed away, so I'll say his first name. His name was Matt, and he lived up in Washington State, and he pulled fuel. And he was always telling me, Todd, you ought to pull fuel in Texas. I do this, and I do that, and I make this, and I make that. I said, yeah, Matt, but what happens if, you know, these people that are texting and driving, if one of them runs into you, or if you're in a parking lot and they go to a lot of convenience stores and stuff, and somebody's not paying attention and they run into you. I'm like, you make a little more money, but it's a lot more dangerous and a lot more risk. I think if I was ever going to do tanker, I'd do food grade. I did look at doing milk in Lubbock. It's actually in Sweetwater. They were hiring for company driver positions, and they were paying $60,000 a year. There was another one that they were hauling milk tankers from a drop yard there in Lubbock to Leprino there in Lubbock, just back and forth all day in a day cab. And I think I would have gone stir crazy doing that, but man, it was only like $1,000 a week. So you're looking at between $50,000 and $60,000 a year doing food grade tanker where I live. Now both of those situations, you're home every day, but just not very much money, about half what I'm used to making out here on the road. Nomadic Brit, Shannon, I'm above you in Saginaw. Where's Shannon at tonight? I am in Villarica, Georgia. Corey Oatley, channel member, I apologize if you've covered this. Are you forced dispatch at RE Garrison? How much choice do you have in your loads and running area? Not forced dispatch for lease purchase. I don't know about for company drivers, just because I didn't ask, not that it was concealed or anything. Something I'm going to work on is learning about the company side so I can talk about it and answer questions. I'm not forced dispatch. I actually turned down a load this week and then later ended up taking it. They ask you in orientation where you prefer to run, where you prefer not to run. If there's any absolute no's, places you will not go under any circumstances, and you can tell them, and they try to accommodate you. It makes it better for them if they know. They know I don't do the tunnels in Kansas City. I know some of y'all love that. That's fine. And I prefer to stay out of the Northeast, but I will go up there in the right circumstances. There was surprisingly a lot of people in orientation that said, I'm not going west past 35. Some of them said, I'm not going to California under any circumstances, or Oregon or Washington. Now, I would tell you that, and I would say this with any company, the bigger list you give them of places you go and things you won't do, the more you're handicapping yourself and limiting your options. But say maybe I prefer not to run there. And that way, if something comes along that's great or it's all they got, then they can show it to you and you can say yes or no. But, I do stuff all the time that I would prefer not to. And I'll give you an example. At the last company I was with, I'd pull loads. I pulled one load with 20-something stops on it. I pulled several that had 5 to 7 stops on it. Is that something I love doing? No. But if the rate's right, or if it's a load going where I need to go, sometimes you got to be open-minded and do things that you wouldn't normally do. But the short answer to your question is, no, it's not forced dispatch for owner-operators or lease purchase. George says, I was on I-75 in Tennessee at exit 141 at the Pilot and watched a foreigner right beside his personal vehicle whip it out and take a pee with children all around them. So I told the truck stop staff. Yeah, like I said, I'm 52 years old. I'll be 53 in December. Sometimes the urge hits you and it's an emergency and you got to go right then. You can't make it in the truck stop. Maybe you don't have a cup or a bottle in your truck. But try to be discreet. Don't put on a show. The guy seen me sitting in the front seat. He could have turned the other way. He could have come to the passenger side of the truck where I wouldn't see nothing. There was a female that was sealing the trailers. He could have, made sure she wasn't around. Things like that. I just, and let's be honest, there's countries, I can think of a few Asian countries right now where public urination is common there. They don't even try to hide it. But when you go to a new country, try to learn the customs and procedures in that country and try to do what's generally considered socially acceptable. And, I think everybody gets what I'm saying. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator. I dislike it when you head into a truck stop and see a Middle Eastern fill a water bottle, go into a stall and stay in there for who knows how long, and you hear water sounds and scratch their head. Yeah, I hate when you go in the bathroom, you see them in their underwear washing themselves in the sink. You can literally get free showers where you buy diesel. Just take you a shower after you get diesel or whenever you stop for the night. I don't get it. I joke, and you guys have heard me joke. I take a shower once a week, whether I need one or not. But the truth is, I try to take one. I'd like to have one every day. It's usually every other day. But, have some pride in yourself. Brush your teeth. Put on some deodorant. Your truck has a closet. Wear clean clothes. Look presentable. If you want to wear flip-flops, wear flip-flops. But when you get to a shipper or receiver, put on some closed-toed shoes and look like you're at employment, like you have a job, things like that. My Uncle Bud, when he was a truck driver, and admittedly, this is way before me, he looked like he was going to church. He had on jeans. He had a buttoned-up collared shirt. He wore a cowboy hat. He would spin in his grave if he knew how truck drivers dress and act now. Shannon Thomas is in Battle Creek, Michigan. Every time I go there, I end up at General Mills. The Tommy? I didn't know you lived down there in Georgia. I don't. I live in Lubbock, Texas, but I do spend a lot of time in Georgia these days. When I was at the last company, I spent all my time out west, and I'm hoping they'll send me out there again. But since I've been here with my dispatcher being on vacation, I've mostly ran the southeast. And honestly, it's been nice to kind of see different parts of the country. I've ran into some of y'all out here. That's kind of cool. And I'm enjoying it, but I'm ready to go back out west. Becca says, hubby and I have been to Battle Creek, him more than me. Yeah. George says he's delivering in Georgia. He doesn't live in Georgia. Yeah, that's it. That's correct. And it doesn't deliver till Monday, but I'm being paid to babysit this load, so I'm cool. No hard feelings. And weird how they're doing it, but I like it. I like how they're willing to think outside the box. I hate when trucking companies say that's the way we've always done it. This is the way it is. I like it a lot better when we have a dialogue and they say, hey, what if we did this? Would it be okay with you then? Which is what they did. And I'm really happy. I'm sorry. I know that upsets a lot of people, but I am. Nomadic Brit says, crikey, I'm 58 tomorrow. Good grief. Well, happy birthday to you. I can't imagine being 58. We are going to do another live tomorrow after the Cowboys game, probably around 4 o'clock. So if y'all ain't doing anything tomorrow, come back and we'll do it again. I'll probably be inconsolable because the Cowboys will have hopefully not lost, but you never know. When they play an 0-4 team, they generally tend to underperform. Shannon Thomas says, happy birthday to Nomadic Brit. George Wilmoth says he was right in front of the store. He could have went inside. Well, that brings up another thing. Some truck drivers are just flat out lazy. They'll pull into a Love's and there will be 15 or 20 easy pull through parking spots or straight back parking spots. And they'll pull in the fuel island and go inside. And not for, a quick fountain drink and right back out. They're in there for the 30-minute break. And it's like, some of us need to get diesel and keep going. Be considerate. It's not going to kill you to walk a couple of 100 feet from your parking spot to the building. And most of them need the walk. They need the exercise. Becca says, happy birthday, Nomadic. The Tommy says the Southeast is where I made my best money with R.E. Garrison. They've definitely got a lot of freight here. I think you could do real well here running the Midwest down to the Southeast back and forth. So that's, but I'm open to advice. I'm by no means an expert on R.E. Garrison freight lanes or where you should go or where you not go. Like I say, I've got a couple people that work here that one of them, he's been here over 2 years. He's about to pay his truck off or enter the balloon phase where they let you pay out your balloon payment here too. And he's about to enter that phase. And generally speaking, he likes it here. He's told me some positive. He's told me some negative. But he's been a great resource for me, especially that first few days when I had a lot of questions, maybe that they didn't cover in orientation or that they covered and I was not in the room at the time or whatever. And so everybody needs that. Am I going to have the answer to every question everybody's going to have? No, but hopefully I've made enough connections that if you call me with a question, I can say, hey, let me call you right back. I'm going to get you an answer to that question. Nomadic Brit, I spent a lot of time between Georgia and upstate New York and Maine. Ooh, I would rather not go up there, but I will go up there if I have to. It's just like the GW Bridge is so expensive. It's got to be a good paying load to offset all that. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator, Penn State played and 0-4 today and got beat by UCLA. Wow. I don't know how Texas Tech did today. Did anybody see the Texas Tech game? Usually my uncle would be on here, but he's in the hospital or in rehab right now for his fallen physical therapy. There we go. George says he wasn't a truck driver. He was in a regular vehicle on the car side. Oh, yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Nomadic Brit, do you pick your loads at Garrison? Haven't yet. They've stacked me a few times with consecutive loads. I'm stacked right now. I do know that they said if you're in an area where they do have multiple loads, sometimes they'll ask you if you got a preference. That's not really an issue for me because, I realize that my dispatcher is my lifeline. So if I'm needing something, I've already communicated that to them. Having said that, though, I also realize that they're not a travel agency, and I'm not going to say, hey, I need to go here, then I need to go here, then I need to go here. I'm still learning who their contract partners are and things like that. So I may get a little more influential in those things in the future. But right now, I'm just happy with the experience trying it all. The Tommy, it kept the miles low. I made about half my pay and detention pay, made good, and didn't have to run a lot of miles. Yeah, it sounds like a good deal. I've got some detention, and we'll see. I always wonder with companies if you're going to get it a lot or get it or not, because a lot of companies will say, yeah, we have detention pay, and then you struggle to get it. But it makes me, it reassures me that you were able to get your detention. Michael, so we can talk about how they choked again. I'm afraid we're going to get to do that a lot this season. I hope I'm wrong, but you might be right. I'm going to call that game the same way I do trucking companies. If they do good, I'm going to tell you I think they did good, and if they choke, I'm going to tell you I think they choked. I really view myself as an umpire, calling balls and strikes. I just feel like there's a lot more to gain by telling the truth. Like that guy that recognized me today and walked up and shook my hand. That's the interactions I want. I don't want somebody coming up going, hey, man, I lost my house because I trusted you and you just lied to me, and now I'm in a bind. First of all, if I get that, I'm going to say, who did you talk to? And things like that. We're going to find out why it happened. If you didn't talk to anybody and you sat in your truck and fumed, then it's your own fault. I'm also going to ask how long it was ago because companies change over time. And the experience I'm having now might not be the experience you had 2 years ago. And so those things are important. Becca says fourth quarter, Texas Tech 35, Houston 11. That's awesome. Texas Tech has a team this year. And I really thought Houston might give them some trouble since that's a much bigger school. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator, Texas Tech is up 35-11. Yeah, thank y'all for the update. That's great. Michael says, I think you mean travel agent. Yeah, what did I say? Did I not say travel agent? I think I said they're not a travel agency, but I may not have said that. My brain's a little scrambled right now. I have good days and bad days. P.U. Patel, G-Dog was at R.E. Garrison. He's now at Landstar with an SFI truck. He says he couldn't have made a better move. more money and freedom. That's great. I may be singing the same song at some point. I just got to go by what I know so far. I've never been a big fan of Landstar, and I've talked to dozens of Landstar drivers, and including some that were successful. Life on 18 was in here. He's successful at Landstar, but he's pulling a step deck. I used to have a neighbor when I lived in the travel trailer that he worked at Landstar, but he had a dedicated run. And I'm not saying that there's not better opportunities. It just depends where you live and where you want to run and what you want to do. But for me, for where I was at in my life and what was going on in my life, it just was a good move for me. Hey, there he is, Racing Ray, channel member moderator. Hey, y'all, checking in. I hope everybody's doing well. Been watching Texas Tech football. Looks like Tech has this one in the bag, 35-11 in the fourth. Thank you for all the prayers. Yeah, we were just talking about the game. Becca and Robbie Ross were giving me scoring updates. I was wondering how they were doing, and I was telling them you probably wouldn't be here tonight because you were in a rehabilitation facility and you were watching the Tech game. But glad you made it in and glad you're doing better. Nomadic Brit. I've had lately different drivers from different companies coming up and saying hello because of YouTube. It does feel weird. Yeah, I really like it. You just never know how it's going to go, if it's going to be somebody that loves your videos or hates your videos. But I've enjoyed meeting people and getting to know some people. Becca says both Texas Tech and Houston are 4-0. Yeah, it doesn't sound like Houston's going to be 4-0 much longer. Oh, okay. Thanks for the correction there, Michael. So what I was trying to say was they're not a travel agency or a travel agent. They're a dispatcher. Now, if I had something come up in a certain area of the country, I wanted to go see family in Indiana or something, then I would tell them, hey, can you get me a load passing through here or going there? But generally speaking, I don't care where I go as long as when it's time to go home, I get home. Now, having said that, I'm running a business, so I want to go to the areas that make the most sense financially. And I know it sounds like I'm contradicting myself. Earlier, I was saying that, that money's not the most important thing, that work-life balance is. While I'm out here, I want to make as much as I can, but the ultimate goal is to spend time with family. I would love to be in Lubbock right now, seeing Racing Ray as he recovers and hanging out with family and things like that. But, some of you're like, when are you going to do a video? When are you going to do a video? I do the videos as much as I can, and the videos do help financially. But right now, trucking still pays more than doing videos. So I got to take care of the truck. I got to drive the truck, take care of that. And I got to do the videos when I can. And like this weekend, since I happen to be sitting, I can do one today. And I can record some videos that'll come out through the week. And I can probably do one tomorrow after the Dallas game. So just be patient with me. I'm doing as much as I can, as fast as I can. George says, I may be getting ready to move to Texas. However, I'll always be a wildcat at heart. Yeah, come on to Texas. Just don't come if you've got liberal political views. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator. I get approached a lot at a truck stop. It's not to say hello to me, or they all like my bulldog and want a pic. I think you mean my bulldog, don't you? For those that don't know, there's a joke between me and Robbie Ross. He's got a bulldog on his truck, and I'm always telling him that I want him to give it to me or sell it to me, but he's not giving up that dog. So I noticed something in the comments today, or not in the comments, in the stuff YouTube sent me. I use StreamYard to do these videos, and a lot of 10 of you so far, it said, have used my referral link for StreamYard. I don't know what that is. I evidently don't get paid on it, or haven't made enough yet to get paid, but I'm going to post it in the comments. If you need StreamYard for your channel, here's a link. Use this link and get you some StreamYard. I've got kind of a love-hate relationship with them. They've got their pros and cons, but that's who I currently use and who I've used for the longest time. Before that, I think I had Restream or something like that. They're definitely better than that. George says, I'm not big on politics, so I generally don't talk politics. Oh, that works good then. Come to Texas. Nomadic Brit, I will be watching the Formula One race tomorrow. I understand. If it goes, as long as this video is going, maybe you'll be able to drop in at some point, though. Or don't forget about the replay gang. If you're watching in the replay gang, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. If you don't know what to say, just say hi or something. All of those things count as interactions, and they help the channel. All right, we're caught up. Wow, I can't believe we've gone almost 2.5 hours. Y'all have been great tonight. We'll give it a few more minutes. We still got 32 in here. We're still carrying a crowd. Hopefully we can get all of y'all back in here tomorrow night and do it all over again. Shannon Thomas says, I'll be catching up on my business books tomorrow and more studying. I'll probably go live for coffee in the morning. Everyone welcome. Yeah, go check her out. If you're awake early in the morning, go watch her in the morning. Good show. Flixie, man, how's Garrison so far? I'm at USA Truck. They are screwing me left and right. I own my own truck, but they're messing me up. So far, so good. I'm still kind of in a wait and see pattern just because my dispatcher's been off the majority of the time I've been here. Yeah, so far, so good. I hate that you're having trouble at USA, but I'm pretty happy here. It's just we'll see how things go when now that my dispatcher's back. She got back yesterday, and I would say that it's been okay so far. I think it's going to be better now that she's back. So stay with me, and I'll let you know over these next couple of weeks. Email me at todd@truckertodd.net, and we'll talk about your specific situation. Or if you are ready to make the next move and get your questions answered even higher up than me, go talk to Stacy Jones. I've got her information scrolling across the ticker right now, and her phone number and email, and she'll get you squared away. I do ask, tell her you've been watching Trucker Todd if you feel led to. If you don't, that's okay too. But yeah, so far I like it here. We had, in my orientation class, we had a couple of owner operators come over, and so I know they do take owner operators. And yeah, that's let me know if I can help in any way. Bobby Ross, channel member moderator, says 31 watching, only 19 thumbs up. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. It's always the hardest part, getting people to do the thumbs up or subscribe, but those are super, super important. You'd be surprised how many people share these videos out, though. I think a lot of times they share them to trolls who will criticize me and make fun of me, but it still helps the channel. John Fuller, have you ever worked for Cargill? No, and there's not even a Cargill near my house anymore. They had that one in Plainview, and they closed it up a few years ago. I have pulled some Cargill loads since I've been here at RE Garrison, but I've never actually worked for Cargill. Becca, where we're moving to, it's about 506 miles from Lubbock. What city is it, if you're comfortable saying? If you're not, I get it. Flixie, will they let you bring your own truck there? Because I don't want to lease a truck. Yeah, you can bring your own truck. That's what I was saying. There was 2 guys in my orientation class that had their own truck already. I think there was 2. That definitely one, but I believe there were 2 people with their own truck. Life with G3. Do you know the Swift website to look at trucks? Just asking. So it's in my old videos. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but here's the problem. I would use that website for illustrative purposes only, because they go through trucks so fast that, I mean, it literally changes hourly. And so they don't update it fast enough for you to see what's actually in stock. The best thing to do is contact a recruiter, and they can look at the availability and tell you. At Swift, they'll reserve a truck for you before you go to orientation. You kind of do it sight on scene. At RE Garrison, they give you a list of available trucks every day, and you go out there and look at it and inspect it, pick the one you want. And so, yeah, the Swift website, I don't think it's going to be a great benefit to you, even if I were to dig up that website address for you, just because everybody in here knows what a Swift truck looks like. It's best to call a recruiter, tell her what kind of truck you want, what brand. I want a Kenworth, I want a Freightliner, I want an International, and let her look, see what's available and where it's at. Another thing about Swift, unless they've changed it, they don't have an orientation there. You pretty much just show up and get in your truck and go. So keep that in mind as well. George says, I felt out of place when I was in orientation for total transportation, because for once I had the most experience out of the whole orientation class. It was weird. Yeah, I've never been to a bad orientation, I don't guess. I've been to some. Usually at an orientation, you'll have that one guy that every time the orientation guy talks, they feels like they've got to elaborate or tell a story or something like that. We didn't have that. We had generally smart people in our class. We did have a couple of people in our class that we privately laughed about different things they said or different behaviors they had. But overall, it was a pretty good class. Michael says, Paul and Mercy used. Haven't heard from them in a while. I'm not sure who that is. Becca says, Huntsville. Ah, that's where you're moving to, Huntsville. Seems like y'all told me that, and I just forgot. Life with G3. Thank you for sharing your experience. I really do appreciate it. It's no problem. It's not that I'm trying to discourage you or nothing. They are a great company, but I mean, if you call them tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock and say, hey, I'm looking for a blue Kenworth with this many miles on it, they may tell you, hey, we don't have one. If you call them back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they may go, yeah, we got 2 of them. You just never know what's in the body shop or the shop that's going to come out. And so I do like that they reserve, but at the same time, I don't like picking a truck sight unseen. It is better than some companies that don't give you any choice at all. I know Hirschbach just says, here's your truck. You don't have any input or say so in it at all, which I'd have a hard time paying for a truck that I didn't get to pick. But it works well for a lot of people. Live with G3. How does the physical work with Swift? I bring my own physical doing lease, and is it worth it? It depends on how long you got left on your lease, is the way it used to be. I've heard now they make everybody get a new physical it has to be somebody in their network. So I believe that I heard recently that you have to get a new physical. Now, keep in mind, I hadn't been there in over 2 years, so things may have changed. I'm probably not the best resource for Swift. If you get over there and have problems now, I've still got some contacts I can help you. But as far as policies and changes they've made, some of my information might be outdated. Becca says, LOL, yeah, Prison City. Yeah, Huntsville is where the more famous Texas prisons are. That's where the women's unit is. And if you say you live in Huntsville, a lot of people associate you with maybe being a prison guard or doing something associated with the prisons. George says, I'm not saying it was bad. It was just odd because everyone had about a year or less of experience. I was pushing 8 to 9 years of experience. It just felt weird because I'm usually bottom rung. Yeah, I get it, man. I feel like an old timer when I go to these orientations because people go, I've been driving 10 years. I've been driving 15 years, and I'm almost double that at 28. Michael says they used to work at R.E. Garrison. I'll have to check them out if their YouTube videos are still up. Paul and Mercy. I wonder what they're doing now. Did they get out of trucking completely, or did they go to Landstar? I'll pull that down so you can see the Trucker Todd thing on there and everything. And we got another comment, so we're going to keep on going. Y'all keep typing. We'll keep going. Becca says, yeah, my mom and stepdad both worked for the prison. Stepdad was a guard, and mom was on the prison board. I got a grandson that's wanting to become a prison guard. I don't know if I'd want to be one or not. You seem like you have to do a lot of babysitting and put up with a lot of crap. Michael says he don't know what happened to him. Maybe I can find out if I can remember their name. I need to screenshot it or something. Paul and Mercy. Hopefully I can remember that. All right. Anybody else got anything else? We're down to 27. I think most of my people are winding down, starting to get ready for bed. Like always, we'll still have a lot in the replay game. Appreciate everybody watching for sure. George says, I thought about applying for the state when we moved down there. Now, I just don't know if I could do it no more. My fighting days are behind me for the most part. I don't want to have to wrestle nobody to the ground. Or, of course, you got a lot of help, but still. I've always had this problem where people underestimate me, and somebody would underestimate me, and we'd find out together. Shannon Thomas says, good night, all. And with that, I think I'm going to take her advice and wrap this up. I sure appreciate everybody watching tonight. It's been a fun 2 hours and 40 minutes. We'll catch y'all on the next one. This is to irritate the trolls. Y'all have a good night.